Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to this morning's edition of Saturday School. You're not here because you're on punishment or because you missed the lesson this week. You're here by choice, by design. Well, I'm Asar, your facilitator for this weekly presentation, also known as Greg Stanton. I'm glad you could visit with us this morning for the next 30 minutes or so as I bring you a message in regards to, or teaching in regards to prosperity. Every Saturday, we're out here on the platform of Zoom. And if you are on the Zoom platform, you have the ability to interact with me. I have not expanded my technology, whereas I can internet interact with both my Zoom participants and the YouTube channel, but I'm going in that direction. So I want to say good morning to our YouTube channel visitors this morning. For those of you who have just crossed my channel, you want to learn more about me at the conclusion of this presentation, go ahead and click the button right here inside of the description, and you'll find more information, or you can go up to the channel, and on the channel you can find out about the website. You can also subscribe. In addition to subscribing to the channel, you can subscribe to my mailing list. That ensures that you get notification. In addition to that, you'll get handouts to support the teachings. Again, welcome this morning to all of you who are joining me virtually. I'm Asar. I'm glad I can be here with you and facilitate this series in regards to finances or prosperity. The word says it is Lord thy God that gives you the power to get wealth. And so I integrate the wisdom teachings that are found in the Bible, in addition to other wisdom teachings that I have found in other places. I integrate that into my presentation each week. My foundation is traditionally I came by way of the spiritual pathway of Christianity. I'm no longer steeped inside of the box or the traditional pattern of Christianity. I've expanded, and so I have an expanded approach to what we call Christianity. Matter of fact, I don't even consider myself a Christian. I am one who is in the way, one who is in the frequency, one who is Christ-like and Christ-mindedness. Well, I want to say good morning to those who are joining me on the YouTube channel. In addition to those who are in the Zoom room this morning, I see you guys. If you want to drop something in the chat, feel free to do that. Hey, that rhymed. If you want to drop something in the chat, feel free to do that. It's good to see you, Michelle. It's good to see you, Dr. Tanya. It's good to see you, Myrna. And I think I'm joining with Myrna's mom. Hello, how you doing, Miss Clayton? Or Myrna's mom, or you may have a different last name. And Pam, it's good to see you. So let us get started this morning. If you, again, I've already given you all the preliminaries and the logistics to connecting with me. I want to just jump right into today's teaching. We're going to discover a couple things. We're going to discover how to let money flow in your life, to have a strong flow of money in your life. We're going to look at 4 basic flows. So I'm not going to be able to go into a lot of things this morning for the sake of time, but these are the things I want to touch on. Possible reasons for a weak flow. Have you ever experienced the ups and downs, the ins and out, or a strong cash flow, and then it feels as though you have no cash flow? We're going to look at some of the reasons that happens. We're going to also talk about how to deal with abundance and overflow. Yes, you have to learn how to deal with abundance. Many people say, well, maybe I should just focus on how to deal with lack. No, you focus on how to deal with lack. Guess what you're going to get? More lack. But you have to know when you are in a season that appears to be lack, there's no such thing. You are just in a season where the things around you, what you're experiencing, gives the appearance. But we live in an abundant universe. The universe is friendly towards us. It created this ecosystem, and then it placed us in the ecosystem, gave us dominion over the ecosystem, and that if you don't have flow in your life, in most cases, if you're in North America, if you're in America, it isn't because there's some invisible man. We got to move away from that. What has happened, things have happened to us, particularly people of African descent. There's nothing wrong with us. Something has happened to us, and we got to understand that it happened to us and is not happening to us unless we hold on to what has happened in the past. We got to learn how to move from conversations, fixations, things that don't serve our highest and greatest good. Awesome. So we're also going to wrap up this morning. I'm going to give you a play sheet, not a worksheet, a play sheet. I'm going to give you some application this morning. Now, for those of you who've been following me, I'm using a variety of books, but one of the books that I'm using is this book here entitled Creating Money, an Oren and David book. And this is a very good book. This is a step-by-step guide in creating money and abundance. It was given to these individuals through a channel experience. And so I highly recommend this book. Easy read, got some application in there you can use. And so I am a teacher. When you look at in the scriptures, for those who follow the King James version of the Bible, one of the wisdom books, it talks about when Christ ascended on high, he gave gifts to men. He gave some apostles, some prophets, some evangelists, some pastors, and some teachers. And so one of the things I tell anyone who is called in, say they have a call in their life in ministry, you're just not called to be a minister. But if you have a call inside of the paradigm of traditional Christianity, you need to identify what your calling is. Is it apostolic? Is it prophetic? Is it evangelistic? Is it pastoral? And is it a teacher's anointing? And because we have not really been taught these things thoroughly in the traditional black church, we just gloss over those things. We say there's no apostles, but I have an apostolic anointing on me. What is an apostolic anointing? It has to do with an individual who's able to bring into the current realm the information that prepares them for the next realm. When we look at Jesus, he was apostolic in that he was bringing in a new realm. John was apostolic. He was bringing in a new realm. When you look at Moses, or when you look at Akhenaten, or you study his history, many of those who are bringing in a new realm with an apostolic flow in their life are often ideal candidates to be terminated because you're bringing information that goes against the status quo. Well, if what you have been doing is working for you, keep working it, and you can drop off this feed. Because I want to tell you, it's psychotic for you to continue to do the things you've been doing, expecting to get a different outcome. No, won't work. So I'm a teacher, and being a teacher, one of the things I pride myself in is always looking for new information or a better way to share the information that I have with my students. And sometimes I get revelatory insight, and for the most part, I am one who search the libraries. I scour for information that can be brought into this conversation. So I want to start with the morning by setting the atmosphere. And I want to read you something today from my one of my meditative books that I use on a daily basis. And this book is 365 Days of Science of Mind. It's a book compiled with wisdom for each day. So it's interesting. Today's is spiritual substance is my supply. I know that spirit fills all space and animates every form. Therefore, spirit is the true actor in everything. But I also know that spirit can only act for me by acting through me. Come on now. God is not going, source is not going to do anything to you. It does everything through you. And if you don't make space to partner with source, with God, guess what? You're going it alone. Then you're just a mere human being that's going to have human experiences. But when you align yourself with the oneness of being, reconnecting with source, guess what happens? You can do all things because source is within you. This simply means that God can only give me what I take. I am conscious that as I daily enter into my divine inheritance in my thought and in the spirit, I am entering into the realm of absolute causation. And I completely believe that from this secret place of the Most High within me, there shall be projected an objective manifestation of every legitimate desire. I am really accepting abundance, or am I really accepting abundance? Is a question this morning. Is my thought really animating my experience with the idea of plenty? Am I affirming the divine substance is forever flowing to me as supply? And those are questions you want to ask yourself. So today, I praise the abundance in all things. I animate everything with the idea of abundance. I am remembering only the good. I am expecting more good. I am experiencing good. I acknowledge that good working everywhere. I give thanks that this good is flowing into my experience in increasing volume. There is that within me that sees, knows, and understands this truth, that completely accepts it. There is good enough to go. There is good enough to go around. Therefore, I do not withhold that good from myself or others, but constantly proclaim spiritual substance is forever flowing to each and all as supply. So let it circulate, circulate, circulate. So that was my affirmation, or that was my meditation that I entered into this morning. Spiritual substance is my supply, and there is no lack therein. Awesome. Let me see over here how we're doing. While you're in the chat, if you feel like it, you could drop hello, whatever you need to drop over there. If I need to go back over something that I'm going to be flowing through this morning, we will do that. So, my foundational scripture today is Psalms, or found in the first division of Psalm, verse 3. And it shall be like, okay, it says, and he shall be like a tree, that's you, and you shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that brings forth his fruit, or your fruit, in your season. Your leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever you do shall prosper. That's our foundational scripture today. Now, as I was reading this week, I came across there was an article I read that said 7 spiritual laws of abundance. And I went through them, and one of the 7 really stood out for me. Matter of fact, it's the catalyst for this conversation that we're in right now. I think it was law number 2 in this particular article I came across. And it says, the law of circulation. And it goes on, miserly hoarding leads to recession. Miserly hoarding leads to recession. Another way of saying that, overly concerned about saving leads to recession. Now that goes against the world principles of sound financial practices. They tell you always save, always have money saved for a rainy day. Well, guess what? In the law of attraction, you're attracting something. If you're saving for a rainy day, guess what's going to happen? A rainy day is going to come and wash all your savings away. A rainy day will come and wash your savings away. So we put ourselves in these strange predicaments because we're living in 2 worlds. We are operating again according to worldly matters, and then we are sometimes attempting to operate inside of kingdom matters. Now, we have to understand, we are to be in this world, but not of this world. Now, you can choose. Now, some of you coming from a religious construct will say that God created this world, I'm in this world, I'm going to match this world by using world principles. But that's not kingdom teaching. Kingdom teaching starts with kingdom theology, which is found in Genesis chapter 1. In the beginning, God created heaven and earth. He goes down through those 6 days. Then he designs man. He creates man. In Genesis chapter 2, he forms man, and he gives man this assignment that we have dominion over the fish of the seas, the fowl of the air, and every creep. You got to creep in your life. No, every creeping thing that creeps upon the face of the earth. And so we have to understand that we are ambassadors, that we are spiritual ambassadors. So an ambassador, because many of us not aware of what an ambassador is or what an ambassador does, we operate as mere citizens of this world. But because I am an ambassador from a higher place, I come knowing that irregardless of what is going on around me, the kingdom from which I come from protects me and take care of me. If I go to a poor country and I'm the ambassador in a particular country that is opulent, when I get to that country of assignment, I don't live like the people in that country. I set up an embassy, and inside this embassy, I have the foods, I have everything that I'm accustomed to back home. Matter of fact, where I am, the kingdom is. And see, we have to learn to live inside of these principles, but we make space for worldly thoughts to be planted in our minds, then we move to a limited vibration, a limited frequency. So I want you to be mindful that the state that you're in is really based on those who you surround yourself with, what you're hearing from people, what you're reading, what you're listening to. It's either helping you or harming you. So when you circulate substance, and money can be looked at as a substance, you keep the river of prosperity flowing freely in your life. When you give away money, now, I never give away, I gift away. When you gift away money, when you gift away shoes, when you gift away clothes or other items you are no longer using, get ready to receive good. You gift them away. They say one man's trash is another man's treasure. Once you're through with something, don't hoard it. Keep it circulating. Just like don't hoard your money. Don't stack your money up in banks. You got to make sure you're circulating something. You put some aside. You don't put it aside for a rainy day. You put it aside so you have easy access to it. That's the only reason I put money aside in the bank. I store it under my mattress. I put it everywhere. No, I don't store money under my mattress. I do have a bank here though. Matter of fact, I have some money in the bank that I can't even open because I lost my key. So when I really need it, I'll break the bank. I'll break the bank, okay? But you can't break the universal bank. So let me, for those of you who are affiliated with Oasis Spiritual Center for Divine Living, I encourage you to go to the website at the conclusion of this presentation and look on what we believe. In the what we believe section, you'll come across 12 universal spiritual laws that here at Oasis Spiritual Center for Divine Living, we espouse and we encourage the practice of these spiritual laws as a way to mastery and manifest in harmony with God's highest and greatest good for you. So I'm going to run through the 12 spiritual laws, then I'm going to come back inside of them and begin to speak to a couple of them and go through what I stated we're going to, what our objectives were at the start of this lesson. Don't forget to hit that like button and don't forget to share. If you got the link, send it out to somebody else. So there's 12 laws that, now, even though I have them listed as 12 laws, I'm sure there's many other laws inside of the universe, but 12 primary laws that we concern ourselves with. The law of divine oneness, the law of vibration, the law of correspondence, the law of attraction, the law of inspired action, the law of perpetual transmutation of energy, the law of cause and effect, the law of compensation, I'm going to come back to, the law of relativity, the law of polarity, the law of rhythm, the law of gender. Those are the 12 laws. So inside those 12 laws, we're going to take a look at a couple of them this morning. I want to start with the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. The law of perpetual transmutation of energy states that everything around us is in constant movement, constant flux. You can't see all these changes because many of them exist at a cellular or atomic level, but they carry on regardless. Just because you don't see them don't mean they're not at work for you or against you. The reason that it's so important to be aware of this law is that it helps you to see how you can trigger positive change in your life. Change your energy, you change what you're able to do, what you begin to receive. Okay, that's really important. If you're vibrating at a low frequency, exposing yourself to the higher frequency of a happy, encouraging friend perhaps will naturally trigger your energy transmutation into you. So if you're around a happy person, you can transmute that energy into you. That's why you got to be, if you're around sad people, always got a sad story, that energy, if you don't watch it, gets transmuted into you. If you're listening to the wrong music, which has a frequency, which has a sound, it transmutes that sound into you. You are a vibrational magnet. That is, you're a vibrational sponge. We pick up the vibrations of things around us. And sometimes you wonder, why am I feeling sad? Nothing has happened to me. Everything appears to be going right. I got much to be in gratitude for. You're sad probably because you've been listening to sad things, or you've been surrounded by sad people. You got to be conscious of where you are at because you transmute energy. The law of compensation. That's another one we need to focus on. According to the law of compensation, you will receive what you put out. That's also known as the law of reciprocity, the law of sowing and reaping. Different words, but it's the law of compensation. This is similar to the law of attraction, but with a focus on the idea that compensation can come in many forms. Now, you have to always be open to receive. When I am putting the law of compensation into play, I can do it by giving love. I can do it by giving money. I can do it by giving of something, and I get compensated accordingly. If you win here's a good example. If you win a large sum of money, then you might think you're getting a reward. However, depending on how you have lived, your vast amount of wealth could lead to a worse life than a better one. Essentially, you reap what you sow. This law, the law of compensation, reminds you to be careful about how you treat others and indeed the planet you live on, the place you stay, because it compensates you accordingly. And the last law I want to look at before we go into the lesson is the law of rhythm, because we're talking about rhythm today. We're talking about a flow, sometimes called the law of perpetual motion. The law of rhythm is, unsurprisingly, focused on movement, and we're talking about how your money is moving. Okay, how is abundance moving through your life? In particular, it refers to the fact that all things come in cycles. Now, that's important. The wisdom book tells us there's a season for everything. Come on now. But irregardless of the season, our foundational scripture today says you will be like a tree planted by the rivers of water. You'll always have streams flowing to you, irregardless of what's going on around you. All right? So we have to understand that. So we know that as the world, as nature operates in cycles, things happen in our lives in cycles. We look at nature in the seasons and in the body's aging process. We can see this. It is equally applies to you and I in our life stages, and it reflects on this. It gives us the ability to gain a perspective on seasons when we look at our lives. So today's season that you might be in may be a good one, but nothing is permanent. So enjoy what you have while it lasts. What I mean by that, gratitude. If you are in a season that appears to be lack, things are not flowing in the way you want to, find something to be grateful for. Maybe you don't have food, but you got a place to live. You know, there's somebody who don't have food today, nor a place to live. And so whatever state you're in, the scripture tells us to find contentment. You don't become complacent, but you become content. In those seasons of my life, from 2014 all the way up to 2020, it was a dry season, but I found contentment, and I found that as a righteous person, I was never forsaken. Neither did I ever have to beg bread. I wasn't living at the level of opulence that I had lived for the majority of my life, but the dry season came. And the dry season gave me the opportunity to see if what I had been teaching works. And I'm going to tell you, it works if you work it. So I know how to be a base, and I know how to be a bound. I know how to have much, and I know how to deal with when I have little. Although I have little, abundance is always available to me. So let's look at a couple things. This morning in this book, one of the things we were going to look at has to do with letting money flow. She says in the book, as you grow and become sensitive to more and more aspects of creating abundance, you'll recognize that money flows in and out. Can you acknowledge that? That in your life, as well as those around you, that money comes and goes. It fluctuates. Okay, so that's a given. It fluctuates in and out like the tide, like the ocean. You will experience times when the tide is in and when times when the tide is out. Your universe is made of energy, and energy moves in waves and cycles. So we know this. So we have to learn the dance of life. We have to learn when to follow and when to lead. We have to know when to hold the position and when to move from the position. And so many times we want to have the 3 steps to this, the 7 steps to this, but we have to learn to trust, learn to flow with life. The universe is made of energy, and energy moves in waves and cycles. There will be times when your magnetism has a larger result and times when it has a smaller result. You will not always be increasing. There will be times when you'll be decreasing. And anything that is increasing all the time is out of the flow of the rhythm of life. Now, it may be increasing for a long period of time, but keep living, keep watching. I guarantee you there'll come a place and a time where that which is increasing will begin to decrease. It's a law. Okay, some weeks, whatever you're doing, your business may be booming, and other weeks you may have very few customers. So there is a natural rhythm that we need to be aware of. This rhythm also applies to our money. Just as there is a natural cycle to everything in your life, every business has its ebb and its flow. You know what? It says water always returns to its set point or to its lowest point. You got to understand you could change your set point. So that way when it rises, you're going to have, but your set point is not the lowest point. So too many of us, our set point is at the point of poverty. But one of the goals of this teaching is to get you to begin to move your set point or move the dial. Move it to just enough to always being at a place of more than enough. Come on now. More than enough is that place that allows you not only to be concerned about your for and no more, but to be able to be a blessing to others. You know, what good does it do to have a nice car, a nice home, and can't share it with someone? And sometimes it's not a gloating, it's a sharing with someone to show them that there's a better way, a contrast to the way they're living. So even on YouTube and Facebook in particular, I share a lot of pieces of my life. I don't share all my life, but I do share the times that I'm experiencing opulence. And there's been times when I've shared times when I've been in a season of just enough. But I didn't communicate it as such because I always show up how I want to be versus the way things really are. And you got to learn to do that. Live from the state of it has already happened. Come on, if you don't have a closet full of clothes and you want to have a closet full of clothes, what you have, be in gratitude for. Take care of them. When you put your clothes on, put them on as though you picked the best thing in your wardrobe that day. It's all a mindset. And not only is it a mindset, but it's a thing of application. So there's a natural rhythm to our money. We got to know each of us goes through cycles. And we have to learn how to deal with the cycles. Now, Shigo says, money flows in your life, and you have to say that I am prosperous. So one of the affirmations you can make it right here now with me. Money flows in my life. Go ahead. Don't be lazy. If you're on the Saturday School feed, you should participate. Right where you are, say, money flows in my life. I am prosperous. Now, for some of you, you may not felt real comfortable with that. And that's good. So that tells you that there's something in you that you have a set point that's different than money flowing in your life. So you have to decide either you want to stay with the set point that you have, or you've identified that there's a contrast, and I'm gonna do what I need to do to change that contrast. Stick around for the play sheet that I'm gonna give towards the end here, so that way you can do it also. Okay. Somebody asked what was the name of the second book. I didn't know what the name of the second book. It was an article I read some time ago, so I don't have that available to me for that individual who wants that information. So there are 4 basic states of flow. We said we're going to talk about them. Okay, you might experience calm when money is coming in and going out in equal amounts. You got a calm. You have a security. Everything is okay. There's flow when much more money is coming in than is going out. That's a good place to be. It feels real good. You can breathe. You can do some things beyond what you do occasionally. You can splurge a little bit. Okay? When much more money is going out, okay, so there's the calm, there's the flow, which is more money is coming in that's going out. There's the ebb, when much more money is going out than coming in. Now, many of us are experiencing the ebb. At the end of the pay cycle, you still have more going out than came in, or you are still coming to the realization, I don't have enough. A couple months ago, I gave you guys an assignment to create a budget. Now, I didn't circle back on that assignment because I want to see if you were going to take the responsibility of doing what needs to be done. I'm not going to hold your hand. I'm going to give you a worksheet. I'm going to give you a play sheet. I'm going to give you things to do. But it's up to you. Now, here's the wisdom in that. How do you know that God is a God of more than enough if you don't know when enough is? Come on. So by having a budget, if your budget is, like I just recently, this month, I set my minimum budget at $10,000 a month. Now, I was close to that already anyway. But I said, you know what? Right now, I'm feeling like I need, I still feel like I don't have enough. So I put some things on paper and I said, Now, $10,000 a month allows me not only do what I want to do, but to carry out the work of the ministry. Because what I'm doing, most of what I'm doing is self-finance. It's not financed by anyone. I don't look to enroll people to take this on, the work of the ministry that I've been given, unless they resonate with it, unless they find value in it. But until they do, I finance my dream. I finance what I'm called to do. Now, I don't necessarily finance it, but source gets to me because money has a mission. So I know that what I have coming into my life, is to be used to carry out the mission of my life. So I've set a goal. April 1st, I wrote it on my calendar up here, a minimum of $10,000 a month. A minimum. No, so I didn't want to. I didn't want to put limitations on what could come to me, but I felt like, okay, I live really at the level of. I felt like, okay, so now first you gotta know what it feels like, and so once I know what it feels like, then I can quantify it. To have that feeling means I live in a certain space, I frequent a certain space, I eat a particular way, I get to do particular things, and that comes up to, and I'm able to circulate, be a blessing to other people. Not only do I receive, but I know the law of circulation is to give. So I set a budget for myself at $10,000 a month. Now, if you are making $2,000 a month, you can set a budget at $10,000 a month, but I'm going to tell you, that's a big jump. You set yourself up for little wins, okay? It could be $500 a month. And then you don't say how it's going to come in. Now, I didn't say it's going to come in through my job. I didn't say it's going to come in through a new flow of clients. I just make space I put the demand on the universe of $10,000. And guess what? It'll show, it'll flow, it'll come now. And it's not for me to know when or how it's going to come. It's for me to celebrate it as though it's already has come. Can you get that? Do you feel me? Okay. So sometimes, you got the calm, that's which many of us can deal with. We got the flow, which is even better. But we find ourselves stuck in the ebb, more going out than coming in. I have seasons like that now. Like recently, when I purchased my home a year ago, I I didn't have the obligations that the purchasing of a home brought with it. And now that, so I had a certain cash flow coming in, and now that I have purchased this home, I found myself of having almost appears to be have overspent. So it seems as though it's always something left over that I need to take care of, and I don't like that feeling. And so that's one of the reasons I said, okay, I need to up the ante. I need to change my set point. And it's okay to do that. There was times in my life where I could get by with $1,000 a month. I can get by. There was times when I got by with no income coming in. But guess what? Source sustained me. Because sometimes you don't need money to come in. Example, somebody may have blessed you with a gift card to eat at a particular restaurant. It wasn't the money, but it was a gift to go eat. So all you have to know is the universe will supply your every need. But sometimes we make the mistake of quantifying our need and saying, I need $10 in order to do that. No, all you got to do is place the demand of what your desire is. My desire is to have a good meal. It's been days when I didn't have anything extra in my account at that particular time, but I had a desire to go somewhere. Then I would hear my cash app ding. And I just smile and I say, look at source. Okay? And so put a demand on the universe, and the demand waits to, the man or universe waits to go to work. See, too many of us, our idea of source or of God is like, it's put it in a predicament of, it's like the Maytag man. If you remember the Maytag commercials from the 70s, the Maytag man was just sitting around with a really nice white outfit on, because the machines weren't breaking down. There was no demand. But here's what we have to understand. You have angels on assignment. You have individuals. An angel can be a person you come in contact with. The Bible tells us, be careful for you entertain angels unaware. A person can be that angelic being that gets to you what source wants you to have. It says that be careful that you may be entertaining angels unaware. So sometimes don't expect what you desire to come to you to come in a certain way, certain fashion, certain form. It will get to you. So we're talking about, you got 4 different flows. You got a calm, you got a flow where it's coming in, you got as much going in, as much going out. You have the ebb when you feel as though that, you don't have enough. And then there's the flat when no money is flowing in and out. Money represents an exchange of energy between you and the outside world. It represents the energy going out from you and the energy coming back. So it's the energy. And if you're not circulating, if you're not priming the pump, if you're not using the other principles, guess what? Eventually your well will dry up. If you're giving, a lot of people who I know who are on the spiritual path is always giving, but they have a filter where they are not able to receive. You should be able to receive at the same measure you give. I stopped telling people when they say, hey, let me bless you with this. I stopped saying, no, thank you. I receive it. Just say thank you. This past week, we had the pleasure of going to see Hamilton. And so as I was driving up, I had Cheryl's mom was in the car, and so I drove her up to the entrance where individuals, seniors could enter, or people with challenges could enter, and I let all the ladies out. And then when I was bagging my car out to leave the parking lot, because this was the VIP parking lot, the lady said, you know what, you just park anywhere. And then I asked her how much was. She said $10. I didn't have any cash. I said, can I drive off and come back and bring the $10 back? Because I for some reason I just don't carry cash. I use my cards all the time. And so long story short, she said, man, go ahead and park. I said, thank you, sister. It was a melanated sister. She let me park. And on our way out, now check this out. On my way out, I didn't have any cash, but I asked one of the riders in the car, "Hey, can you bless this sister?" And so we let the window down and drove up to her, and we attempted to give her, and she said, "No, no, 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 thank you." I said, "You bless me." I didn't say no, thank you. Let me bless you. See, we got to learn how to be open to receive. Many of us are not open to receive. We only receive what we work for. That let your employer don't pay you. You got a problem. We have to take on the mindset, even when it appears to be somebody who is less fortunate than you that are attempting to bless you. They're blessing up. They're blessing up because they can see the gift that you are. So I don't evaluate where I'm getting a seed from. I don't say, well, this person looks like they need it more than I do. No, I just say thank you. Now, that's just what I want you to know. If you are in a calm or a flat state where money is coming in and going out in equal amounts, or where there isn't any movement, look at where your energy might not be moving. You want both money and your personal energy to flow. Money is currency, and you want to make that your currency flows with the current. If you got a strong current, you should have strong currency, okay? You want both money and your personal energy to flow. By unblocking your energy, you can create more money in your life. Check this out, blocks in money can be caused by places where your energy isn't flowing, such as in your physical body, your emotions, your relationships, or with other people. If you are in a calm or a flat state with money and you want the energy to begin to move, observe your life for a while. Ask your higher self to show you where energy needs to flow more. Now, here's where a lot of people block their own blessings. Unforgiveness. That is, I have to say, that's the number one thing that gets in the way of people really seeing the blessings of the Lord, of the law, flowing into their life. It says, the blessings of the Lord make it rich. The universal laws make it rich. And check this out. And adds no sorrow. I know a lot of rich folk that got a lot of sorrow because their riches and wealth did not come from source. It came from work, or it came from an inheritance. But when you get wealth and riches by operating the principles, you will not have, guess what? It says, the blessings of the Lord makes it rich and adds no sorrow. That's for somebody this morning. Now, check this out. Repeat after me right here, right now. My energy is open and flowing. Don't be lazy. Participatory. My energy is open and flowing in every area of my life. Not in just one area, but in every area of your life, you're letting your energy flow. Sometimes the lack of flow may be in your body. If your body is not healthy or as an energetic as it should be, you can start having more energy by getting in touch with your energy. So what you got to do is get quiet before the Lord, before Source, and ask Source. Get quiet before yourself. Your body will speak to you. Your body will tell you what's going on with you. Hey, here's a freebie. Louise Hayes, you can heal yourself. So after this call, after this presentation, Google Louise Hayes, you can heal yourself. And she has a little book. And matter of fact, she passed away a couple years ago, but she has a website you can go to. Let's say if you're experiencing challenges with your throat, then you may look up sore throat, or you may look up issues with the throat. And metaphysically, she tells you that your throat, usually when you're having problems with your throat, is because you're not speaking your truth. You're not saying what you need to say. You're tempering what you need to say. But so as a result, your body, every area of your body tells you something. So when you have a ailment or a dis-ease in a particular area of your body, instead of just trying to automatically extinguish it, because what we usually do is we medicate it. We make it where we can't feel it, but it's still there. And so if you over medicate it, guess what? So your body said, oh, you don't want to get the lesson with the headache? Now I'll give you a lesson with the brain tumor. Now, God didn't give it to you. We bring these things on ourselves because we don't want to pay attention to ourselves. And if we pay attention to ourselves will tell us what we need to do. It'll tell you what you need to eat. When I had COVID, let me rephrase that. I didn't have COVID. When I had a bout with COVID, an experience with COVID, I used the principles. So one of the things I did while I was dealing with COVID is I got quiet. And the Spirit told me, my body told me what I should be eating. I didn't have a desire to eat, but my body began to crave spinach of all things. So I lived in a building where I could get spinach up. So I had some spinach, and matter of fact, for the entire 14 days, that's probably was a big part of my diet. Spinach, and it did my body good. And I bounced back. The only challenge I'm having now is repercussions of the COVID. Is still it did impact my lung capacity, so I'm standing, holding a high watch for myself in that area. But I'm looking at what does that mean to me that I'm having some respiratory challenges. Also, my taste buds are off. And that's the worst thing could ever happen to me as an eatitarian, that I can't taste my food. But now I'm eating my food with imaginary olfactory in work. Meaning I can't taste it, but I imagine what it should be tasting like. Because I just like the habit. I like food, and I eat. My camera, let me bring it back in focus. Awesome, good. So we're right at the 3/4 way of the hour. A couple of things I wanted to bring to your attention. Here's another thing I want you to say with me. I always have more money coming in than going out. Let's say it together. I always have more money coming in than going out. Okay? Every one of us looks forward to the flow when more money is coming in than going out. You experience this many times during each month. When you receive your paycheck or a sum of money before you spend it, you can create a flow. Before you spend it, you create a flow. Give you an example. Remember Jesus, when he was feeding the multitude, the first thing he did was had them sit down. So he sat them down so he could see what needed to be. He had 2 fish and 5 loaves? Or did he have 5 loaves and 2 fish? You tell me. So he had enough. He had 7 things. That was 7 represents ending. To end that situation, he had what was necessary. And I'm saying to each and every one of you on this call, you always have enough to change the situation. A farmer never eats its seed. If the farmer has 1 seed left, the farmer's going to sow that seed. You know why? The farmer's going to sow that seed because the farmer knows the seed meets its need. So no matter the woman with the 2 mites, she gave more than everybody else who had given. And she got a greater blessing than anyone else that had given. But she gave knowing the principle of circulation. If what I have is not enough to do what I needed to do, then I sow that thing where that thing will grow and manifest and bring into my life the abundance I desire. See, we got to learn how to work these principles. I know in the old church it was all about teaching you or telling you to give, but no one ever taught you the rudimentary principles of why we give, why it behooves us to give. I chuckle. I'm on YouTube. I'm on quite a few YouTube channels. There are some people now that do Patreon. I chuckle because these same people that talked about the church and the preachers always asking to give, they do the same thing through their Patreon channels. Okay, and they don't even make it a private thing. If you give more, you get put up on the screen. Your giving should always be private between you and the recipient of it. It shouldn't be done in order that everybody should know. You give in private because in most cases you want to be blessed in private. The worst thing that ever happened to you for the whole world to know you just been blessed. You got your cousin and them come out the woodworks. And so on Patreon, people give $1, $2. I'm like, okay, I just sit and watch. First of all, if I'm giving you $1, $2, that don't tell me the value. Now, if all I have is $2 and I give you $2, that says I've given you all I have. That says that which I have, I feel you're worthy of it. But there's individuals I know. I'm looking at this list. I know some of the people. People just give $1, $2 to appease people. But I tell people, don't give me anything to appease me. Don't give me at the measure you think that I desire. Don't sow into this ministry except you first look at your heart and say, did I get anything of value? If there's no value here, I don't expect you to give anything here. But I don't even worry about what people give because when one doesn't, two will. Okay? So I don't press this, but I'm making a point here that I'm not going to allow erroneous teachings to keep me from teaching the truth about giving. The law of circulation has to be in operation. And you give, so the tithe was a measure to start people with. But when you come into the true realization that all you have belong to the universe, belong to source, and if source is only asking you to give back 10% of what it has given you, if it gives you a $10 bill and only asking for $1, now let me explain something to you. If you can't give $1 out of a 10, when you get that major win, there's no way you're going to give 3,000 out of 30,000. No way you're going to give 100,000 out of 1,000,000. People say, when I get more, I'll give more. No, the measure you give at the place you are at right now tells me whether you're operating according to spiritual practices or universal laws, or you're operating according to mistrust, distrust, or you're operating according to worldly principles. Now, so that's a lot. That's for somebody today. Not necessarily saying it that you will give more to this ministry, but I want you to understand that it works if you work it. Here's another one I want you to say. I allow myself to have more than I ever dreamed possible. Say that with me. I allow myself to have more than I ever dreamed possible. Now you're about to break the bank. Now you're about to move beyond the limitations that you have put on yourself. You have not because you ask not. And when you do ask, you ask amiss. You miss it. You ask for 2,000 when source wanted you to ask for 5. Come on. But one of the things I want you to know before we wrap up, what is your godly point of satisfaction? Too many people are looking to create more because of what has the influence that the world has had on them. You saw a commercial. You saw another person with something that you liked. It's okay to say you like something. You don't have to own that thing. I know I don't want at this point in my life, my children are grown and gone. I don't want a mega mansion. But when I was 30, I enjoyed having a huge palatial mansion of a home because my children got to enjoy it. Their friends got to come over. And 30 years later, their friends are always saying, man, I remember that house you guys used to live in because now I've primed the pump. And all of those young kids that used to come over to our house, they're doing quite well. They're living large based on what they saw. And they saw the possibility because somebody that looked like me was investing in them. Realize that as more comes in, you will develop new processes, new forms, new structures. Because sometimes you can't live the way you've been living when you move into abundance. You got to adjust some things. Because what you can then begin to do is mismanage. You can begin to misappropriate. When people see you flowing in a certain level, they're going to come from all over. Because you don't want to begin to become to them what source needs to be. Now, if source says to you to bless them, to gift them, to assist them, do so. But if you find yourself assisting people that source is attempting to teach a lesson to, or life school is teaching them a lesson, and you are rescuing them, then you are the problem. Then life school, earth school, is going to put your stuff on hold, put you in a situation where you can't be the deliverer, where you can't be the rescuer. We are not called to rescue people. We are called to assist people, come alongside of people. If I'm going to give a person something, it's not because of the sad story. It's just simple as this. Hey, Greg, could you help me with, or do you have? And all I can say, yes, here you go. I don't even ask what you need it for. If I don't have it available to me, I want to be able to say, hey, I wish I could help you, but I don't have access to it today. And I leave it at that. I don't say, when I get it, I'll give it to you. I don't have it today. If I got it today, they get it today. That's important. Now, let's talk about the play sheet. I want to give you, I know some of you got to jump off the line, but I'm going to put the play sheet in, the worksheet into this conversation. So those who got to go can go, but circle back and get this assignment. This is an auditory assignment that I'm giving you. Let's start with the letting money flow in your life. The play sheet, not a worksheet. It's a play sheet. Is there an area in your life that is not working as well as you would like it to work? That's the question. Take a moment to picture how you would like this area of your life to look. Get quiet and listen to your inner guidance, or some of you may say the Holy Spirit, about what you might do to experience what you want in this area. What one joyful step could you take tomorrow to begin to follow this guidance? Okay, so that's exercise number 1. Exercise 2, get quiet and tune into your physical body. Do this in the morning. What inner guidance have you been receiving that might give you more energy or health? What one joyful step could you take tomorrow for this guidance? Play sheet exercise number 3. Think about your relationships, including your relationship with yourself. Is there something that is not working as well as you would like it to? Is there something? Picture the experience you would like. In that imagination now. No, you cannot change another person, only yourself. Often when you change something about yourself, that is your attitude, your perspective, your actions, the other person or people around you change his or her or their response to you. What about yourself could you change that would improve the situation? Stop for a minute and let ideas come to mind about what you might do to improve your experience of this relationship. Be willing to take action on your ideas. Now, there you have it. Walk away with this morning. The law of circulation dictates the law of flow. How things flow in your life is predicated on how you allow things to circulate. If you have mistrust or a distrust for source, God, divine intelligence, then you take it upon yourself to hold on to what you have. Now, I'm not saying you don't use wisdom. You don't put everything out that comes in. You put some aside. You don't put it aside for an emergency. You put it aside like the ant. The Bible says, consider the ant, thou sluggard. It always is storing up. For he knows there's to be a season where it has to go back to what is stored up. So we do put things aside because we know there will come a season where you need to be able to tune in, tap into it like right now. Well, that's all I have. I hope something has been said that's uplifting and encouraging. For those of you who've just joined me, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you go up to the YouTube channel. On the YouTube channel banner, there is you can go into the website. You can also sow a seed. Now, I'm going to challenge someone this morning. I'm not asking for Patreon. What has the Lord, what is Source put on your heart? You hit that that little green button up there, you can make a donation to the ministry through Cash App. Or you can go to the website. If you don't use Cash App and you use PayPal, or you want to text to give, you can go to the website, go to www.oasisspiritualcenter.com, go over to the giving tab, find the flat platform that meets your needs, and transmute what you have in your hand, in your account, over to our account, on account of we have said something that has been uplifting, encouraging, and brought value to you. Well, that's all I have.